Hi, this is Jan of the Jan Files. If you haven't subscribed, please do so now by clicking on that subscribe button. I'm here to talk today about Christianity and Republicans, which is actually, in my opinion, an oxymoron. I have a big problem with people lying to people. And I have a big problem with then those same people holding themselves up to be, epitome of being what it means to be a Christian. And this is from the perspective, so I am a spiritual person. Don't follow any kind of religion. I was raised to have a relationship to my word, to be a person of integrity, not to lie. That's how I was raised. And when I did things that were not up to those standards, that's when I faced consequences. I raised my children to be the same. Now, for those, and I appreciate and respect people who follow a religion. I am actually fascinated by the history of religion and do a lot of, kind of deep dives on my own time just because I'm fascinated about the history of it. But what I will tell you right now is I have no patience for anybody who says that they are Christian or of any religion that does not support lying. Wow, that shouldn't be that hard, is it? I don't know of any kind of religion that supports lying. And yet we have the GOP and Congress in the House and the Senate who lie daily and who yet will say, have hold hands and in prayer talk about, responding and praying to God. Yet they do not follow the tenements of their religion. Tenets, not tenements, Jesus. Tenets of their religion. So let me just be really clear, because I wanted to make sure that I hadn't missed something when I was looking at this issue of lying, because it's a big deal to me. It's always been a big deal to me. It's why I do my best to try to get the facts. And sometimes I screw up. Absolutely. And I don't mean to screw up, and I don't mean maybe to say the wrong thing or say what is actually not factual. But if that's pointed out to me, if I find it out on my own, I issue a fast mea culpa. It's okay to be wrong. I was also brought up to believe that. And it was okay to say, hey, you know what? I'm wrong, and make an apology. So this is where I come from in response to this issue. But let's just quickly point out a few things about the teachings of some of the different religions as represented in Congress, who are primarily Protestant, some are Catholic, a handful are Orthodox Christians, and a couple of representatives, or at least one representative, I'm not sure about senators, is Jewish. So let's look at what primarily the bulk of the House and the Senate are. So let's start with Catholics, okay? Because I'm going to say this really quickly, because Catholics consider a direct offense against truth. Lying is defined as speaking or acting against the truth to lead another into error. A violation of the eighth commandment. The Catholic Church interprets the eighth commandment, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor, as a prohibition against all forms of dishonesty and deception. According to Catechism of the Catholic Church and prominent theologians like St. Augustine and St. Thomas of Aquinas, lying is intrinsically wrong, meaning it cannot be justified. Listen to this. It cannot be justified for any good end. Evangelicals believe that God is the embodiment of truth, and because God cannot lie, his followers are expected to reflect his character by speaking truthfully. And of course, Protestants do the same, quote the same commandment, thou shalt not bear false witness against your neighbor. While originally referring to perjury in court, Protestant theology extends this to all forms of lying. So I could go on and provide more proverbs and commandments and other things. But the point is here, folks, that lying is not justified. Mike Johnson lies through his teeth on a daily damn basis. And he proclaims to be this religious figure. Bullshit. And it's time we start demanding that some of these churches and some of the priests and pastors start speaking out. Because this is not okay. This is not Christ-like. This is not God-like. Lying is not acceptable in any religion, period. And yet, these guys, primarily guys, and there are some women, Virginia Fox really nails it for me in terms, or Marsha Blackburn, lie on a daily basis. And how do I know this? Well, you could say, well, you're a Democrat, you just perceive it. No, that's not it. Because let's just take the government shutdown. You can go to the government, congress.gov, and you can see the Democratic CR, which is a continuing resolution. It's there. You can look it up. You can go through it. It's like 90 pages long. You can search it. There is zero there about giving health care or health insurance to illegal aliens. That's nonsense. It's crap. And they're not fighting for it because, folks, it's illegal. And as they want to tell you that illegal aliens get Medicaid or Medicare or SNAP, they do not. It is against the law. The only time that any, I hate the word illegal, but I'm going to use it for the purposes of this conversation. Illegal aliens get any kind of Medicaid is when they go to the hospital and they're in a trauma situation. They've been in a car accident. They may die. A limb has been lost. They will be dealt with, and it will be covered by Medicaid. They will also be covered by Medicaid if a woman is pregnant. That's it. There is no health insurance. There never has been. Okay? It's never been part of the Democrats or any law in the United States that gives Medicaid or SNAP or any benefits to people who are not legal residents of the United States. It is a profound lie. And it's not the only one they tell. But this one is easily provable. Go to congress.gov, look up the Democratic CR, and then look up the big, beautiful, ugly bill where they cite subtitle E. Okay, subtitle E, look it up, big, ugly, beautiful bill that only Republicans voted for, by the way, only Republicans. And they use that page, they actually highlight it as if it is a part of what the Democrats are proposing. It's so absurd. And yet they post this on social media. And everyone from Pam Bondi to his, Carolyn Levitt, to all of the people around him, to Mike Johnson, to all of the House members of the GOP are spouting this nonsense. They are lying. And it's time that we constantly say this. And we constantly question their being Christians because they lead with that. They want you to believe that they have the best in mind for Americans when nothing could be further from the truth. What they have in their minds is, how do we give the wealthy more? How do we cut back on services for the poor, which is exactly what the big, beautiful bill did, which I know because I actually read it. I actually read the first House version and then the Senate version, and then I read the version that was actually voted on only by Republicans and approved. It is an inhumane bill that affects Americans, poor, lower class, middle class Americans are getting screwed, and not the elite, not the wealthy. So, folks, it's time we started doing and saying exactly and identifying what is happening. These people are not moral people. They are not Christians, in my definition, and certainly the definition as I've cited by those religions. Lying is not okay. No matter what what the ends are, it's not okay. And the problem is the mainstream media for so long hesitated to say he's lying, that Trump was lying. It's false. It's not accurate. It's not the same as saying he's lying. He has lied, I don't know how many times now. It's been counted 30,000 times. He just lies. And at this point, he's demented. He's not well. And the fact is, they're propping him up and lying about that. So if you're as fed up as I am, it is time to start calling on the clergy to speak up, because they have been part of the people that have backed him, that have been silent in this process, with only a handful saying something like, this is not okay. This is not the America that we want or know. We don't turn aside people who are in need. And I am not for a second suggesting that we should have open borders and allow anybody in. And I believe that criminals should be deported. But that is not what is happening. People, Americans, legal residents are being terrorized, and they're lying to you. You can now see it with your own eyes when they lie about Portland and Chicago being war zones. They are anything but. And the fact is, if you take this information and then you put it out there as if it's the truth, you're lying. And when you lie, you say to me that you don't have any relationship to your word, any relationship to your religion, any relationship to you being a Christian. So, or a Jew, because they also are not going to stand for lying. Netanyahu is a consummate liar. They are in the same place we are, with a leader who has no regard for the truth. So I'm just going to say it's time to call out this nonsense. They are not Christians. Okay? Certainly, they don't represent in any shape or form the beliefs that what Jesus Christ espoused. And I am disgusted. Time and time again, I just want to scream because of the hypocrisy, of the blasphemy, of the unbelievable disregard for humanity. So, folks, join me in calling out the lies every single goddamn time. Excuse my goddamn time. Okay? Because this is actually at the backbone of everything that is happening. Will we seek the truth? Will we defend the truth? Or will we close our eyes and be blind to what is happening to Americans, to those without a lot, for those who are in the lower or middle class, who are not the elite, who has been, and that's who the Republicans are protecting. They're protecting the people with money. They're not protecting you. They're not protecting I. They are protecting the rich. And Mike Johnson, I'm going to just say this to you. I don't know. I'm assuming that what you believe is that if you're not Christ-like, that you will suffer. And all I can say is I wouldn't want to be in your shoes.